Recently, I was looking for a 5-star review image to use in a thumbnail on YouTube, but I didn't like the options I found, so I made my own in Davinci Resolve in the SHAPE system. So welcome back to Creative Reality, my friend. Today, I'm going to show you how to recreate that at home and use it in the future. So let's dive into Davinci Resolve and I'll show you what we're working with. Got my blank timeline here, and we're going to start by going into our effects. If you don't see effects, it's up here. You click on it, go to effects, and we need a fusion composition. So I'll drag that on. Doesn't matter how long it is, it's a static image. So in this case, I'll press Control D and see that it's 3 seconds long. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to put my playhead at the start of it. And you can either right click and choose open in Fusion page, or we can click on the Fusion icon down here and it'll open up Fusion. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through every step. And before we get started, I do want to remind you that Fusion is a node-based system and you don't have to do things in the exact right order. There is no right order. You can do things in whatever order makes sense for you. And in this case, I'm going to do a few things out of sequence because that makes it easier for me. But at the end, you will see why I did things out of sequence. So let's get started. Right here, all we have is our media out 1. And if you see this little white dot, that means it's in the right-hand viewer. I know the screen is really dark, but I have 2 viewers. And if you click on this button here, it'll go to 1 viewer and 2. Don't worry, I'll show that a little clearer later on, but it's in the second viewer and I'm going to use my center mouse wheel. And with that, I can click and drag and move things around. So I want media out 1 over there, and we can right click and arrange tools to grid. I've selected that. That's good. That's what we want. First thing we're going to start with is a rectangle. We need to make the background. So I'm going to click in blank space, hold shift, press space bar, and I'm going to type in SRect. And if there's a shape that you're looking for, you can actually just type in the shape name. So if I remove SRect and I just type in RECT, we get a few options, but one of them is that S rectangle. So I'll click add and I'm going to press the 1 key. You're going to see that a lot. See, I've got the 1 key there and I can't connect this to media out. It won't connect yet. We will get it to connect later, don't worry. Anyway, now that we understand how this is going to work, let's get some stuff done. So with S rectangle 1 selected, I'm going to play with the width and the height, and I'm going to leave a little bit of transparent room over here because we're going to need a drop shadow at the end like you saw before. And then we'll do a corner radius. We'll get it to about there. Now we have a rectangle. We can go over to style and pick a color. I'm going to pick a light gray, I think, just like that. That's good. That's our background for our image. And for clarity, I'm going to rename this. So I'm going to select S rectangle 1, press F2, and type in rectangle or rect. And then I'm going to select rect, Control C, click in blank space, Control V. This creates a copy. First thing we do is uncheck solid. And for clarity's sake, I'm going to go to style and I'm going to pick a different color. So we have a nice blue and you don't see anything. We got to hit the 1 key. Now we definitely don't see anything, but you see the green outline. Well, that's because we need to go back to controls and drag up our border width. And you can either drag the slider here or you can drag in the numbers and you can hold control to get really fine adjustments. But we want it to be about this wide. And we need to merge these together. So I'm going to drag the output of rect 1 to rect. And then I'm going to rename rect 1. I'm going to call it rect outline. There we go. And we have a merge. So I'm going to rename that merge rect. It will make sense later and it makes things a lot cleaner. Now I can press my 1 key and we see that we have our gray background with a blue border. Maybe that border's a little thick. I can drag that down a little bit. Great. Now we have rectangles. How do we get the stars? Well, we click in blank space, shift space bar. I'm going to type in star. S star is there. Click add. Nothing shows up, right? We got to press our 1 key. It's got too many points, so we're going to change that to 5. And then we're going to right click on height, choose expression, replace that with width. Now the width and height are together, but it's crooked. So we need to go to angle and we'll double click there and type in 18. So it's vertically set up. We've got our S star. I'll rename it star. And then I'm going to copy it and paste it. We'll create this one we'll call star outline, and we'll press our 1 key, uncheck solid, bring our border width up a little bit, about 0.014, and we can change all of these values later. Everything is tweakable. Colors, border width, sizes, placement. It's really cool. Once you get it built, I'll show you how to save it, but this is really neat because we could just change any of these settings for our 5-star review image. Now I want to change the color on this one. We're going to pick the same blue. We'll go back to star, press our 1 key, and I want to change that to yellow like I showed earlier. So we've got a yellow one, and now we're going to merge these together the same way, and we'll rename that merge star. And then we'll press our 1 key, and voila, we have a yellow star with a blue background on it. Cool. We'll lasso select all of these, move them up. We have our background, we have our stars. Now we need some text. So we're going to drag a text node down, press our 1 key, and let's do something easy like subscribe. And I'll choose impact for my font, bring it up in size. We'll change our color to red. And then we're going to go to shading and click on the 3 under select element and enable it. And that's our drop shadow. And then we can connect text 1 output to our media out 1 input, and subscribe shows up. Where's the rest of them, you ask? Let's take care of that now. So I'm going to lasso select these 2 nodes and bring them down. And then I'm going to select merge rect, shift spacebar, S render. We have an S render node. And then we can merge that on top of our text. Now our text disappears because the merge foreground and background are reversed. Very quick fix for that with merge 1 selected. Hold Control, press T, and you'll notice that the yellow line turned green and the green line turned yellow, and our text is now on top. Bam! Tough actin' tenactin. If you remember those ads, you probably need an aspirin and a nap. Anyway, moving on. We need to do the same thing for our star. So I'm going to create that, drag the output of my S render to the output of merge 1. It creates merge 2, puts a star on there. But John, there's only 1 star and it's too big. I got you. Don't worry. Let's lasso select these, move them over, move that over. After the merge, we need to duplicate this. So with merge star selected, I'm going to hold shift space and I'm going to type in duplicate, and S duplicate is selected. Click add. It goes in the middle. And now we want 5 total stars. So we need 4 copies, not 5, 4 copies. And we're going to change our X offset and see how if I drag it back and forth, it moves them. Well, they are way big. We can go back to our star and we can go to controls and we can drag the width down. But look at that. It left our outline. See, this is an example of you can go back and change things in the future, right? So I'm going to select star outline. And we've got our controls. I'm going to go to width and height, and you notice it copied the width. So I'm going to right click on width, choose expression, and knowing that the other node is called star, I'm going to use star.width. Ta-da! Fixed that one right up, didn't it? But now our border is a little thick, so I can just drag that down just a little bit, just a hair. And now our X offset is crazy, right? Well, we need to fix that. So we can go back to our S duplicate and bring that in. But now they're too big. They're sticking off the screen. We need to go make some more changes. So I'm going to bring my width down some more. We need them about this big. And then our star outline, our border again is too thick. So this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of things you can go back and tweak, and you might have to go back and tweak because you don't know exactly what's going to fit. Now under duplicate, I can bring my X offset down, and we've got all 5 of them on screen just about touching. But if I control mouse wheel to zoom in, this has a rounded tip. So we need to go back to our star outline, and we're going to select this 3rd border style. If you select the first one, it cuts them off flat. Second one, it rounds them. The 4th one, it gives them points, and the 3rd one gives them points. Not much of a difference between 3rd and 4th, but that's good. And that's what we wanted. So I'm going to come here and fit, so bring it back in. And now we want a way to move all these around real easily. Now that everything's sized right, I'm going to select S render 2, shift spacebar, type in transform, and click enter. And now we've got a handle. We can move these around. So we can put them right there. And now we want a drop shadow. So I'm going to move transform 1 over, and I'm going to click on S render 2, shift spacebar, and type in drop. Gives us drop shadow. Click add. It's right in there. we're going to change the drop distance. We don't want it to be that far out. So now we can lasso select our rectangle nodes, move them over, select just sRender1, shift spacebar, type in drop again, drop shadow, click add. And now we've added a drop shadow to our background. So we have all our drop shadows in. We have our text. We can go back to our text and we can make it bigger. So we can bring that around. We can move it down here. We've got our 5 stars. We can come in here to this text and say, best video ever. And that's viewers. Yeah, good stuff. You know, you can play around with the text. We can move things around. We can customize the text any way we see fit. It's our project after all, right? Boop the like button if you're learning anything in this video. So now it's looking pretty good, but you notice the intro, it had a gradient background here. Let's mask some stuff out. So for that, I'm going to move everything over. I'm going to drag in a background node, and I'm going to change the type from solid color to gradient. And it starts at black and goes to white, but you don't see that. We got to press our 1 key. Now you can see it. Well, we don't want black to white, so I'm going to click on the black here, and I'm going to select a kind of medium gray, click OK, and it goes from medium gray to white. Well, we have these little handles here, and if I control mouse wheel to zoom out, you can see the red square at the end. We can just grab that and drag it around and change our gradient. So now I've got that looking the way I want. We're going to go back and fit that in. So to properly use this background, we're going to mask it out. So I'm going to take the output of our sRender1 and bring it into the mask of background 1. And now you see background 1 has changed to be the same size as our outline, but we need to reconnect things. So I'm going to move drop shadow over and disconnect sRender1 because it's going into the mask output of our background 1. If I lasso select these and move them over, it's a little clearer to understand, but we need to bring our output from background 1 to drop shadow 2. But if you notice, our outline disappeared. So to fix that, we can disconnect our outline and select our merge and backspace it out, which leaves our rectangle going into a render, and then we need a render for our outline. So I'll shift space bar, S render. That is going to create another render, and we can merge that on top of our background by dragging the output of sRender3 to the output of merge 1. Now our background is back, but we've got the gradient background. Slick, right? Now, the only thing left is to add the half-star increments. And for that, we need a rectangle mask. So I'm going to go over here and grab a rectangle mask and drag it down. And then I'm going to take the output from rectangle 1 into our sRender1. And voila, we now have a 3-star review. It's not good enough. We want it 4.5 stars. So I'm going to grab the handles because I have rectangle 1 selected. And I'm going to drag it over until just 4.5 stars are visible. Now, if I control mouse wheel to zoom in, you can see that this is way off, right? Well, we can drag on our center, but it's not really fine control until you hold the control key on your keyboard. So I'm going to hold control and drag over until it's just about perfect, and then let go. And then when I fit this back, we now have a 4.5 star review. Isn't that cool? So now if there's anything we don't like, we can go back to like background 1, for instance, and we can change our gray to be a little bit lighter. And you'll notice it changes it on both viewers, but maybe we want it a little bit lighter, kind of like that right there. That's good. Click OK. You can change the yellow, the blue, the red, whatever. Maybe I want this to be yellow for now. I'll click on yellow, click OK. There you go. That makes more sense. Now, if I grab my transform, I can move this over, right? And it moves everything with it. So all of our stars are now moving, and the rectangle that masks them out is moving. So you don't lose how many stars this review is. So that's why we used a transform there. And hopefully now you see why I did things sort of out of sequence, because we can just go back and fine tune it until it's ready. Now I've got the effect built. It's time to go back to the edit page, take a look at it, and save it for future use. So I'm going to click on my edit page button. We're back over here. Now it's a fusion effect, so I can zoom out. I can change the position of it. I can Control Z to undo both of those. But over here in my media pool, I have power bins. If you don't see power bins, click on the 3 dots up here. If you don't see media pool, click, media pool. But then power bins, we need our 3 dots. and show power bins right there, and show smart bins as well. Smart bins will hold timelines and other things. So with power bins visible, I'm going to click on my master power bin, and I've got some cool stuff in here. A lot of things I use. Cross projects. Anything in the power bins is going to be usable across all projects. So any reusable asset, something like this comes to mind, fits in this power bin paradigm, if you will. But I'm going to click on my Fusion composition. I'm going to come up to my inspector. If you don't see it, click on inspector, click on file, and we can select Fusion composition and change it to 5-star review. And when I tab away, it's going to be set there. If I zoom in on it, you can see we've got 5-star review, and I can just drag it and drop it in this blank space. And now here it is in my power bins, ready to be used in another project. Hey, what would you give this video? Would you give it 5 stars? Because I would. I'm a little biased though. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you learned a lot today. If you have any questions about this or other effects in Davinci Resolve, please leave a comment below. I hope you're having a great day, and until next time, check out this video here YouTube thinks you'll like. It's one of mine, so they're probably right. And I'll see you there. John out.